Welcome back to a new vlog. Still trying to wake up. I have my protein shake with coffee to try and wake me up more this morning because I'm very, very tired. Storming all night last night, which is, I love it, honestly. I love that weather. We don't get enough of it here. But it also was very loud. It kept me awake. I did some meal prepping earlier this week, so I'm gonna put that stuff here. So I'm making chili. I'm using Beyond Meat, either ground beef, and I have nutritional yeast, tomatoes, garlic, better than bouillon, veggie stock, lentils soaking. And I thought I'd show you guys. This is going to be a meal prep for this week. The first thing I want to do is I want to cut up an onion to put in here with garlic and the spices, and then add the meat to that. Then I'll add the lentils, the tomatoes, the water, you know, all of that stuff. But let's get chopping. So, hi. This is a recipe that I have not made in quite a while, so we'll see how it goes. I don't think I'm going to use all the Beyond Meat, but I'm adding some stuff to it too, but I'll leave the recipe below, and just know I'm using it as a base, and I'm adding other stuff like this onion. Okay, we are done with the workout. It's actually much more than just a workout. I'm doing a 5K in about a month, and which, like, I didn't know. My trainer told me. He was like, hey, by the way, you're doing a 5K next month. I was like, oh, okay. And I've done the hikes, which I think I've taken you guys on, and those are longer than a 5K, but there's something about doing like a 5K with like a group of people that just seems so intimidating. And so I'm like conditioning for that. So I just did like my normal workout, which is like boxing warm up, then like a long walk, then a bunch of weightlifting, and some more cardio. And then after my training session, which is an hour, I walked on the treadmill. Last time I did a mile in about 27 minutes, and I just did a mile and a quarter in like 33 minutes. And it really takes a lot. Like, I've talked about how I can only do, like, once it gets like 15 minutes, I'm like down for the count and like ready to leave. So it has taken a lot to push myself, but it also feels so good. It literally, like, it feels really, really good to be pushing myself like this. There's something that's really rewarding about like pushing past the barriers that I constrain myself with in terms of like what I can do physically, because I think I can do a lot more than I even recognize or I even allow myself to like think that I can do. Yeah, that's that. You guys updated on the 5K training, because I'm so scared about that. And I don't know why, but I think me and my friend are gonna go walk the course later, and kind of get a feel for it, which will, I think, help my anxiety. Just a little preface for the next topic. I'm going to be talking about grief. So if you don't want to hear about that, I'll make sure this video has chapters so you can skip ahead. But I have been dealing with a lot of grief, a lot of depression, and a lot of sadness. I am moving forward in a lot of different ways in my life. I've lived with family, like forever. I've paid rent. I started paying rent when I was like 18 years old. So I'm not like financially independent, but I've still lived at home, with family up until now. And it's definitely like had its good sides, had its bad sides. Overall, I think it's where I was supposed to be, but I also know that I've been getting to a point where I'm feeling ready to move out and be on my own. And I am going to be taking a trip, which I will tell you guys more about. But I'm going to be taking a trip soon, which is so scary in itself, because I used to travel all the time, and I have not traveled for even like a few years before COVID. The idea, one, of traveling, but also traveling at my size, is really intimidating, but I'm doing it. So I'm going on a trip, and then once that trip is over, I'm going on the trip solo, and then once that trip is over, I'm going to be living on my own. I'm going to be getting my own place. Not really sure where yet. It's very undecided, and I'm not pressuring myself to make that choice just yet, because the trip is going to be pretty long. I don't feel like I need to choose now where I want to live. But regardless, this whole point is I'm going to be living on my own, and I'm going to be going out on my own in a much like bigger sense. Like, it sounds, I don't know, it sounds kind of stupid as I'm talking about it, but it's a big deal for me. And while I want it, and I know it's the right time, it brings up a lot of grief. I've talked about my mom before, and as honestly, like, not as good of a parent as she was also my best friend, and she was also the person I told everything to. She was also my best friend, and I think that she did the best she could with the resources and experiences she had. There are times when I feel differently than that, but currently that's kind of how I'm feeling. And I'm really just feeling this sense of missing her a lot. And this tends to happen when like big life changes happen, and this is definitely like the biggest life change for me in a long time. And it is resurfacing all the grief from her death and all that trauma, and I just miss her. And the grief from her loss and from her death feels really fresh right now, and I just really miss her, and that's been really hard because I don't like feeling sad, but I have just been a very sad person recently. And also just, you know, big life changes are scary in general, especially like I think for if you know, had a hard childhood, or have something I haven't really talked about, but I have diagnosed PTSD, and it just brings up a lot. You know, change is scary. So I've been a really sad person, and I've been dealing with that. And I haven't been turning to food mostly. I've had my moments, but I'm really working on not relying on food, because I've realized that like even to an extent that I have not acknowledged, I've been turning to food to numb and to run away from these feelings. And that's the same thing I did when my mom died, is I went to food. I spiraled. I was involved in other really disordered eating and self-harm, and that's not a place that I'm willing to return to. I want to confront these emotions and let myself feel them, but with that comes a lot of just like being sad and anxious, and I'm trying to work through that. So all that to say, I feel that the ability to still work out and push myself physically, to keep an eye and in touch with my food, and to make active choices in terms of like what I eat and how I eat, and even if those choices aren't like the healthiest, I'm staying connected with that, and I'm just dealing with the sadness and this grief, and it's hard, and I don't want to be quiet about it. Like, I don't want to hide it. So that's what's going on with me right now. And that's why I warned, if you guys watch this part, I warned you. It's sad. And you guys know, I like to have like a bow to wrap things up with, or a lesson or something. And I don't have that right now. I'm just sad. And I just miss my mom. And this moving on to this next step and moving out and being on my own, is a really big reminder of how like I am alone. I don't have parents. I don't have a mom, I don't have a dad, I don't have parents. And there's a lot of shit that comes with that, and I'm learning how do I exist and enjoy life, and participate in society and engage in the ways I want to with the world, while also like holding space and allowing myself to be sad, and to not feel like I need to hide. And I'm working on that, but it's something I want to talk about too. So yeah, I've got to get my groceries. I'm at Whole Foods. I'll check in with you guys later, I guess. Thank you for listening.